Hello. Hey. So I have a new setup. I have a microphone. I hope it's working well. And I have a web camera, which is new. And there's a picture of me now in the screen. And I'm trying not to look at myself, but look at what will be you guys in the camera. It's going to take me some getting used to. So, on one of my previous videos, someone posted a comment and asked if I could explain the bridge to total freedom. And I replied, I can certainly try. So, this is going to be my attempt to explain the bridge to total freedom. The bridge, as we usually just say, is actually called, the classification, gradation, and awareness chart, or the grade chart. And basically, when we talk about the grade chart, we're referring to the actual paper poster, the poster of it, right? And when we're talking about the bridge, we're meaning the levels, because the bridge is it's just like a bunch of different levels of auditing and training in Scientology. So when we say the grade chart, we talk about poster pretty much. And if we're saying, oh, where are you on the bridge? Or I've been making great bridge progress lately, then we're talking about going up the levels, or where you're at on the levels. Okay, so yeah, let's not look for too much logic. I think this is kind of logical. It's in Scientology sense, the bridge is logical, but let's not try to just look for logic in it. But I'm just going to try to explain it as it is, and I hope it makes kind of sense to you guys. So when I was little, back in the day, I remember the bridge having a picture of a bridge in the background. Sorry. Oh my God. I hope that doesn't make crazy noises. But I remember there being sometimes in fancy letterhead or something, you can have a faded picture in the background. Yeah, I remember there being a bridge on the background of this poster of the grade chart. And I remember thinking it was a beautiful bridge. It was impossible architecture, but I found it to be beautiful. So I tried to draw it. This is what it looks like in my memory. I don't know if it's 100% accurate, but it was like this thing that started, down here and went way, 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 way high up. And it had these really tiny, thin pillars holding it up. Okay, so I drew it, and now we're going to draw the chart on top. And if it's not visible enough, then I will just take away this background drawing and draw it straight on. Now, the bridge is red ink on white paper, and this is because technical policies in Scientology are printed with red ink on white paper. If you hear some weird snuffling noises going on, that's my dog. All right, let's draw this. Basically, the bridge has two halves. Okay, like this. Now, the two halves, one half is training and the other half is auditing. And auditing in Scientology is like their counseling, right? So basically, one half is for learning how to do Scientology, and the other half is receiving Scientology. Yeah. So let's see. I'm just going to put audit and training so we know what half we're on. Okay. Now, this middle section, I never really paid attention to. It's got all these just weird states of awareness, which is why it's called the classification. Classification is different training levels. Classification, gradation is different grades on the auditing side, and then the awareness chart, because right here in the middle were different states of awareness that I never actually really paid attention to, even when I was in Scientology. All right, now approximately, and okay, guys, as a reminder, I was never a good Scientologist because I am here on the bridge. I had like half a foot on it after growing up in Scientology for 20 years. Because I grew up in the Sea Org, and the Sea Org is supposed to get free auditing and free training, which is only free as long as you're still in, because if you leave, you have to pay it all back. And auditing and training is not a priority. So, yeah. Like if you got auditing in the Sea Org, it was either because you were getting a security check, which is an interrogation, because you needed clearance to get up to a higher level, or because you were being a bad Sea Org member, or if you were getting like auditing on the bridge, it was because some person was training to be an auditor and they need, they need a guinea pig to practice on. Anyways, the bridge, the audit side of the bridge starts with the purification rundown, which is the 5 hours a day in the sauna and overdosing on niacin. And it starts there because apparently if you've taken drugs, Scientology isn't going to work for you. Back when I was little, if you hadn't taken any drugs, then you didn't have to do the purification rundown. So I've actually done the step that was above the purification rundown when I was like 11. I did a course. It's a training course, but it's also a little bit of play auditing. Anyways, the course was called TRs and Objectives, and basically the TRs is a training part, is training routines. Those are the communication drills, and the objectives was kind of like the auditing part. I actually don't even remember the objectives part. I only remember the TRs part. But yeah, I did that when I was like 11. But that course has been remade now in lately in the second phase of Golden Age of Tech 2. So I would now be considered to have not done it. And I did start the purification rundown actually when I was in the Sea Org. When I was being a very bad Sea Org member, I was put on the cans, and they kind of like did an interview with me. And basically, something that came up was I was upset that I had been in the Cadet Org my entire childhood, and I had been in the Sea Org for like 3 years already, and I hadn't made any bridge progress. And for some reason, somebody took pity on me and put me on the purification rundown, and I never finished it. And that's actually off policy for Scientology. They're not supposed to let someone leave in the middle of something, and I never finished my purification rundown. I was technically in the middle of it when I made them kick me out of the Sea Org. But that's another story for another day. Approximately here. Now, when the bridge was first made, when it was first printed, when the words were like, put down on paper, it was called the grade chart because at the time, the bridge only went up to clear. And what was new was there was these grades. They were called grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and 4. And then after the grades, there's a little bit of other stuff. And then you get to clear, which is like, it's a really big step in Scientology. And I usually say it's about halfway up, but there are lots more. But there aren't that many things below clear as there are a lot more above clear. But I usually say it's about the halfway point. So I'm just going to write out clear here. Now, on the training side, because Hubbard says to get the full gains of Scientology auditing, you're supposed to do the training as well, and not everybody does. By far, not everybody does. But some people do. And some people just do training, and then they just audit other people. But the training side kind of matches up with the auditing side. And on this side, we have the class 5 auditor. That's why they call it the classification chart. Because on this side, you get a classification. On this side, you get a gradation. All right. So you have a class 5 and a clear. Remember, this is just from memory. I could be a little bit wrong. But basically, so going up on the training route, you start with like learning how to study according to the study tech of Scientology, and then you do the training routines, the communication drills that teach you how to take abuse, and then and then you do like how to use the e-meter, the pro e-meter course, and then you do your academy levels auditor training. And when you get to class 5, you should be able to produce a clear. And this is why also people who do auditor training, they tend to also move up the bridge, because you can't be, auditing someone to the clear cognition if you don't know what the clear cognition is yourself. Anyways, but here there'll also be like grades, like grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and then you get to, so way back in the day when you did Dianetics, you could go clear doing just Dianetics, right? You can't do that anymore. And most people don't do the original form of Dianetics auditing that used to be just like 2 people sitting in front of each other, no e-meter, and just a Dianetics book. People don't really do that anymore. They start with the PURIF, and then they do their what used to be the TRs and objectives, but isn't anymore. I think it's called survival rundown now. And then you do like something called ARC straight wire. I don't want to get into that, but then you do your grades 1 to 4, and then you do NED, New Era Dianetics. So that's like Dianetic auditing, but with an e-meter. And then you get to clear, maybe, if you're lucky. Way back in the day, you could be a past life clear. You could also be, my father was a natural clear. And the clear cognition is basically, oh, I just realized I've been making up my reactive mind. The reactive mind is the subconscious where all your pain is stored, in a very short nutshell. And back in the day, you could be like, oh, but I already did clear in a past lifetime, and they would let you move on. Or like my dad, who was a natural clear, as in he never made up his reactive mind to begin with. They don't really accept that anymore. And I think what happened for him is just like when they asked him to go back to previous lifetime recall, he was just like, nope, ain't nothing there. Because in my personal opinion, my dad was autistic and he didn't have an imagination, so he couldn't make up past lives. He was very fact-based. He was a very fact-based person. Except for his years in Scientology, I guess. I don't know. You can't do that anymore. You have to do like some stuff. Anyways, and you finish the grades and you do your New Era Dianetics, or NED, and then you reach clear. And on this side of the chart, you're learning to do the auditing. And this is where we have the word for the class 5 org. So the non-Sea Org organizations in Scientology, the ones in your local place, the places that have testing centers and trying to get new people in from the street, they are class 5 orgs because they get to deliver up to clear. After clear, these local organizations, they're not allowed to keep delivering that. Then you have to go to a Sea Org, a Sea Org service organization, to go up the OT levels. So here we have the OT levels, right? And I'm not going to draw them all out. I'm just going to write OT. Now, currently you can go up to OT 8. Just going to put that like there. On this chart, though, there's up to OT 15. Now, 9 and 10 are supposedly ready to be released, but we got to get more people in Scientology before it's safe to release them. I don't think 9 and 10 exist. In fact, people that are in the know and have left Scientology have said they don't exist. But on the grade chart, there's up to OT 15. Yeah. And on this side, you'll have class 6 auditing, which is a St. Hill special briefing course, and I don't think that's being given anymore. And then you have class 7 and 8. I never even heard of a class 7 or 8 auditor, but class 9 are the ones that are auditing at OT, right? At Flag, where I was raised, the Flag Service Organization, the class 9 auditors were all the auditors in the AO building, the Advanced Organization building, which was at the Sandcastle at that time. And yeah, they did all the OT, they did all the auditing that is done with an auditor on the OT levels, and also the auditing of the people on OT7. I mean, a lot of the OT levels are solo audited. So you teach yourself how to audit yourself. But some of them, you get some auditing. And then also when you're on OT7, which can take years and years and years, you have to come in every 6 months to get a security check, an interrogation to make sure you're doing your auditing correctly while you're at home. And that's the class 9 auditors doing that. Now, at Flag, there were class 12 auditors. And I don't know if the training side of the bridge actually gets higher than that. So I'm just going to put it there. The class 12 auditors, there weren't many of them. I was pretty close friends with one of them. His name was Hank. I grew up in the Krerog with his 2 sons. And I wouldn't say I was close friends with him. I knew him pretty well because his sons were my age. And also when I don't think both of his sons, but one of his sons was sent to the RPF. And I think he kind of felt that as a loss. And he grew really close to my best friend at the time and kind of like adopted her. I think he became her guardian because her parents were at the Sea Organization at INT at the Gold Base. And so he became her guardian and he became really attached to her and was like her father while I was still there. And she was my best friend at the time. This was just the last like 6 months before I left. And he tried to look out for me a little bit. He actually paid for my braces. I had braces for a short while. Actually, I had braces for a long time, but I needed to have them longer. But yeah, the Sea Organization wouldn't pay for my braces, and I really desperately needed them. And he actually gave me some money to help pay for my braces. But he was a class 12 auditor. And the class 12 auditors, they didn't do OT levels or the grades. They did the L rundowns. Now, the L rundowns are not on the bridge. But there's more stuff going on than just this. And now we're going to get into that a little bit. So just drawing some stuff out here, trying to be as fast as I can. Before you get onto the bridge to total freedom, you're going to do some sort of introductory course. Nobody starts up, I mean, some people actually do start off with the purification rundown, but most people get into Scientology doing one of these little introductory courses that cost like $10 or $15, maybe $50. These are courses like I don't know, STCC is Success Through Communication course, where you get to start doing some of the training routines, learn how to communicate. There are children's versions of that as well, the children's communication course. You could do the basic study manual, which is a light version of the student hat, which you would do on the training side. You could do like how to have a successful marriage course, ups and downs in life course, problems of work course. There are a whole bunch of like little niched, we call them Div 6 courses, Division 6 courses, because that's the Division 6 in the Scientology organization is the division that gets in new people. So yeah, those are like introductory courses down there on the side. Then on the side here are all these like extra auditing stuff that you can do that don't give you bridge progress, but you can do them. So we have the L rundowns, L10, L11, L12. They're supposed to be like totally awesome and give you tons of powers. You'll find the superpower will be here somewhere. You will have like case cracking rundowns here. So basically, if you're on the bridge and you're stuck at some level and for some reason it's just not working for you, maybe there's something very specific about you that you need help with, and usually you do these types of actions at flag, and they're called case cracking rundowns. So you got to crack your case. Case is basically your everything, your psychological side that's wrong with you and stuff you got to fix. So, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I hope that's not like a massive sound in your ears. So case cracking rundowns, you'll find them here. You'll find like different stuff, superpower, yeah, and the L's. And then over here on the training side, you'll have the extra courses that won't train you to be an auditor, but you might want to do them for different situations in life. Like you will have the PTSSP course, the potential trouble source and suppressive person. And that course is supposed to teach you how to confront and shatter suppression, which apparently if you do that course, you learn how to run away from critics of Scientology really quickly. Because they don't confront us at any rate. You could also have something like the Key to Life course or the Life Orientation course, which I've heard aren't being given anymore, but they were like a big thing when they were released by Miscavige in like 1990 or something. I remember they closed down like half a floor and renovated a big course room just for the Key to Life and Life Orientation course, KTL LOC, so that they had their own course room. Yeah, you'll have like different courses on the side as well. So the goal in Scientology as a Scientologist is to get up this one. And Hubbard says you want to do this side to get the full gains of this side, but not everybody does that. Most people, everything costs money, right? It's pay to play. So this costs a lot of money. So if you want to get up here, all your money's going there. These also cost a lot of money. So some people just do this side. Some people do this side and like they find another person also doing training and then they audit each other to hopefully get up this side. And if you're on staff or in the Sea Org, maybe you do training in order to be the ones that deliver this side. Yeah, that's the bridge. That's the bridge to total freedom. When you go up this side, you're supposed to get like, your innate abilities, superpower abilities that we have if we weren't so messed up. But from what I can tell, the further up you get up this side, the more brainwashed you are. I reckon this side as well. Yeah, basically, pay to play, and the higher you get, the more convinced you are that whatever this is, it's all true. Yeah. You level up. As a gamer, I love leveling up because that actually does give me superpowers. Like I get to cast Fireball in Dungeons and Dragons when I level up. This one, you level up, you get more brainwashed. So that's the bridge to total freedom. I hope that explains it enough. I hope it made Scientology logic sense, I guess. All it makes is sense, as one of my favorite podcasters used to say. But yeah, I found a really good Wikipedia article actually explains the bridge very thoroughly and quite accurately as far as I can tell. Remember, I'm not an expert. I'm barely there. And I've had I've done nothing on this side. All the courses I've done were staff mandatory courses. Oh, And when I was a little kid in the cadet org, I did all of these ones, including how to have a successful marriage at the age of 10. Yep. Yeah. Right. So I hope that explains it. It was probably long-winded. I know I am long-winded. I've heard that said before, but I don't care. That's me. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day. Go play Dungeons and Dragons. I did that all day yesterday. It was awesome. Much funner than the bridge to total freedom, in my personal opinion, because, like I said, did actually have superpowers. I got to cast Fireball. It was a lot of fun. I killed a lot of zombies. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. If you have any other requests on topics or questions to be answered, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, thanks so much. Remember that mental health is important, having fun is important, and don't be culty. Bye.